chapter and then proceed on to the next chapter. So, going on to verse 13. Yat prinananad barisi devutriyan manushya virutranam avirancha priyeta sadhya saha vishvajiva prita swayam pratamagadagayasya. Sang Prabhu, if you can read the translation.
When the Supreme Lord is pleased by a personal action, automatically all the demigod, human being, animal, bird, bees, creepers, trees, grass, and all other living entities, beginning with Lord Brahma, are pleased. The Supreme Sense of Godhead is the super soul of everyone, and he is by nature fully pleased. Nonetheless, he came to the arena of Maharaj Gaya and said, I am fully pleased.
So this is the concluding verse of the glories of Maharaj Gaya, and Vishwanath Chakravarti says that he comments on this, that the Lord, by pleasing whom all beings are pleased, who is the very form of satisfaction, showed his satisfaction. I am pleased at the sacrifice along with all beings of the sacrifice. And so Srila Prabhupada here also expands on this, saying that it's explicitly stated herein that simply by satisfying the personality of Godhead, one satisfies everyone, the demigods, the living entities, without differentiation. Right? And then he gives the example of if one pours water on the root of a tree, all the branches, twigs, and the flowers are automatically nourished. So because Maharaj Gaya, he pleased the Lord, he automatically pleased everyone. So this is the crowning glory of Maharaj Gaya. One might say that he was focused on pleasing the Lord and ignored everything else. So this verse puts to end any doubts like that. And that by pleasing the Lord, he also pleased everyone, and everyone was pleased by him. And Sukadeva Goswami also makes this point about the affection of the Lord. So here he said that the Supreme Personality of Godhead is the super soul of everyone, and he is by nature fully pleased. So what does this mean? That the Lord is accompanying the jiva, and each and every jiva is accompanied by the Lord. So the Lord could have expressed his pleasure to Maharaj Gaya from within as the super soul. Now he said that he is by nature fully pleased. So Krishna is Anandamaya. He is by nature fully pleased, and being the super soul accompanying the jiva, King Gaya, he could have expressed his pleasure more so internally. Nonetheless, he came to the arena and said, I am fully pleased. So this indicates that when the interaction between the Lord and his devotee becomes deeper, then the Lord is not satisfied by expressing his pleasure as the indwelling Paramatma, but he manifests in person and expresses his satisfaction. And experientially, we can also know that sometimes we are working, we are doing good work, we have an inner sense of satisfaction. But when the person for whom we are working expresses this clearly, that I'm really satisfied with your work, that takes it to the next level. So this is the nature of the soul, that it relishes personal interactions at the highest platform. Prabhupada says, who can compare to Maharaj Gaya? So this verse essentially is putting him on the pedestal. Of course, later on there is his descendant, who also is comparable to Maharaj Gaya. Right? So these are all the examples of greatest. So they're all greatest in their own way. It does not have to be that one is number one, number is two, and one is number three. They're all number ones. Right? That's what Prabhupada would say. Okay. Moving on to the next verse. Prabhu, if you can read the translation, this essentially gives the lineage from Maharaj Gaya.
In the womb of Gayanti, Maharaj Gaya begot three sons named Chitraratha, Sughati, and Arodhana. In the womb of his wife, Purna, Chitraratha begot a son named Samrat. The wife of Samrat was Utkala, and in her womb, Samrat begot a son named Marishi. In the womb of his wife, Bindumati, Marishi begot a son named Bindu. In the womb of his wife, Saraga, Bindu begot a son named Madhu. In the womb of his wife named Sumana, Madhu begot a son named Viravrata. In the son of his wife, Bhoja, Viravrata begot two sons named Mantu and Pramantu. In the womb of his wife, Satya, Mantu begot a son named Bhovana. And in the womb of his wife, Dushana, Bhovana begot a son named Twasata. In the womb of his wife, Virochana, Twasata got a son named Viraja. In the wife of Viraja was Vishusi, and in her womb, Viraja begot 100 sons and one daughter. Of all these sons, the son named Satyajit was predominant.
So this is a brief description of the lineage. I think about 8 generations are counted over here. One thing also we notice is that the names are based on the names of the previous great personalities, right? So we see that Samrat had a son by the name of Marichi. And there is, of course, another Marichi who is the son of Brahma, right? So same name, but different personalities. Similarly, Virochana has a son named Twasta. There's another Twasta that appears who actually is the Twasta is the father of what's the demon?
Vritrasura?
Vritrasura, thank you. He's the father of Vritrasura, but that's the Prajapati Twasta. That's different, and this is different. So sometimes when we see personalities and we have different pastimes related to them, we get a little confused. But then we just have to keep thinking. Just like right now also, there are people whose children's name are Krishna and Ram and Balram and other personalities. And maybe a million years from now, if some of them are great enough to be recorded, then they might think, okay, is this the original Krishna, the new Krishna, or whatever? So we just need to be aware of this. So the lineage is going down, and Sukadeva Goswami is kind of stopping at prominent personalities. Not to say that others are not worthy of mentioning. He's mentioning of all the children, he's mentioning the eldest son. So that's the way he goes, because otherwise the description will become too elaborate. And he makes that point at other places also, that if I were to describe every children and the lineage of every child, then this description would become too elaborate. So he only talks about the eldest son and the wife of the eldest son, and then the eldest son of the son. and here he's just mentioning them, and then it stops at the wife, then it stops at Viraja, because Viraja is again because a great devotee, so that he will glorify in the next verse, verse 16. Tatrayam shloka prayavratam vamasham imam virja sacharam bodhavaha akarodatyalam kritya Vishnu suraganam yatha.
There is a famous verse about King Viraja. Because of his qualities and wide fame, King Viraja became the jewel of the dynasty of King Priyavarta. Just as Lord Vishnu, by his transcendental potency, decorates and blesses the demigods.
So this is the last verse, and it stops at the description of King Viraja. So Prabhupada talks about how a personality can either glorify an entire dynasty or the opposite. Like he gives the example of how if there's a fragrant flower, the entire forest becomes fragrant. Right. So the Yaduvanshis, they became famous because Krishna appeared there. So similarly, because of King Viraja's appearance, the family of Maharaj Priyavarta has remained famous for all time. Right? Now, King Viraj is not the only great personality. King Priyavarta himself is a great personality. And then we read about the glories of King Gaya. So many great personalities appeared. And it talks about the greatness of King Priyavarta, that he produced such qualified progeny, and the glories of his dynasty. How we see that one good example can glorify the entire dynasty and can condemn also. And one interesting example is that of Hiranyakashipu. So we have Hiranyakashipu that is condemning, and his son Prahlad that is glorifying. Right? So the dynasty is at the same time condemned because of the appearance of Hiranyaksha and Hiranyakashipu, but then it is glorified because of the appearance of Prahlad Maharaj and later on Bali Maharaj, and then much later on Banasur, who was a little bit of both. He was a demon, but he was chastised by Krishna. Then he kind of changed disposition there. So the lesson.
Sorry to disturb you. I think Prem Krishna is trying to tell you something.
Is
you can't hear him.
Prem Kishore Prabhu, it is recording now. I am seeing the recording symbol.
He's saying I could not hear at all. Others can hear, right?
Yes.
Yeah.